So this segment is going to be a very important segment because what I'm going to share right now, it is something which will create massive ripples maybe 100 years from now. Okay. And it is some big thinking that has gone into this. I've done a research on various kinds of movements and revolutions. And I've broken it down to a formula, a 6-step formula on how you can take your message and make it into a movement. Okay. I never thought that I would be able to make this into a movement. It is not like a huge movement, but it is a small little bit of movement, like a few hundred and thousands. I would say a few thousand people doing this. Okay. But a real movement is like when millions of people are doing this. Okay. So my question to you here is, how many of you want to create a ripple that goes like into hundreds of years down the line? Yes, just type I in the comment box. I want to expand your vision right now. Forget about you making that 3 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees. That's like, I mean, that's a given. You're going to be achieving that, no doubts. Your financial freedom, your financial security, all that is definitely going to happen. There's no doubts about it. I want you to stretch your imagination now and think about this. Okay. Where whatever you do is going to create a ripple effect for generations to come. So I was able to go, I mean, personally from around 0 to 30,000 people in the tribe in 18 months. Okay. And the active members are touching around 6,000 to 7,000 people, like who are actually implementing. The others are anyway students going through the courses and all of that. Okay. I want to first share with you some concepts before I share the 6 steps. So the first concept, which is the most important, is your vibe will attract your tribe. Okay. So it's very important what you vibe. Okay. It's very important on how you work on yourself relentlessly, besides all the other inputs you're getting from outside. I mean, you're getting from other places. So it has to be a combination of both. You may have the best information. For example, like there are many people who are watching my videos. Some people are getting results fast. Some people are getting results slow. And the only difference is it's the person, whether they're ready to accept that or not, or how ready the individual is. How many of you agree with me with that point, that one's success depends on one's level at which they're working on themselves? Yes or no? Just type in the comment box. Yeah. So if there are like 5 people in this community where I'm telling the same thing, each of those 5 people are working at different levels on themselves. And the ones who work on themselves more, they are the ones who are going to get faster results, better results, and quicker results. I know it's like there's a whole dynamic. Okay. So when I say working on yourself, there are also many layers to it. So the only way that you can work on yourself is if you are open to be coachable, if you've removed away all those mental frictions, because all of us have challenges in life. All of us have different situations in our life. It's about keeping that mental state very strong. And that's one of the reasons we do the strangest secret in the world, because I've seen many people in our community, once they get disciplined on that, once they start listening to that twice in a day, it aligns their mindset, and then they're actually ready to receive. And once you're ready to receive, then it's like when your operating system is free from all those viruses, and then when it's fully clean and it's really when your RAM is working really fast, then when you install these new programs into your head in terms of the knowledge and the skills and the new tools and stuff like that, then it starts to work for you. Is this making sense? Yeah. Just type MS in the comment box. So your vibe will actually attract your tribe. And these 6 steps that I'm going to share with you is something that I had decoded way before starting this journey. Okay. Some of you may know this. When I was doing webinars in 2017 and 2018, some of you have been following me since then, I used to talk about these 6 steps, because I got these 6 steps as just like an inspiration when I was on the beach. Okay. One of the days I went to the beach, I was sitting there. By the way, how many of you have had these moments where you're having a shower, you're completely relaxed, and suddenly an idea comes in, like a brilliant idea pops into your head? How many of you experienced that? Just type I have in the comment box. Yeah. You have? Yes. So I had one of those moments when I was I went to this Chennai Marina Beach. I was sitting there, and then I was, just alone. I like to go to the beach quite a lot. So I was sitting there and I threw out an intention. I could see the vastness of the universe and the ocean in front of me. And I felt so like humble, and usually nature humbles you. And I threw, okay, what can I do in this world with the knowledge that I have? What can I do that can create a big impact in the world with the knowledge that I have? And at that moment, just this idea just sparked in. These 6 steps, what I'm going to share with you. It just came like a flash, like, okay, I already knew about this, but at that moment, it was like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. Okay. I wouldn't call it like a eureka moment, but it just like, okay, this makes sense. Let me just go back home and put it down on paper and see, how it is, how it's working out. So I put down these 6 steps. And then I started to look at the patterns of the big revolutions. I looked at political campaigns that have been successful, political leaders who have been creating revolutions. I looked at religious leaders who created revolutions. And I looked at other influencers who are creating like massive, impact in their tribes at a large scale. And when I looked at these 6 points, these 6 steps, everything aligned because they were following the same pattern. And then I started to talk about it back in 2017, even 17, 18, even before all of this was there. And somehow I forgot about it and I, just kept doing what I was doing. And consciously or subconsciously, you want to call it, that's what has happened in the last 20 months. Okay. And we're just getting started. And I want to share this with you because it's not just me doing this. I think each and every one of you, if you understand this concept, these 6 steps, and if you start working on yourself and working on this, you can leave a legacy that it's unimaginable. Okay. And I'm going to codify the whole thing into a more deeper level today, which than I've done before, because now I have something to show. I have something where I'm actually implementing this knowledge here. And this is more like a journey for you to keep it in mind, so that you just need to do it with your own flavor, do it with your own style, do it with your own products, with your own mission that you have. Okay. So the first concept is your vibe attracts your tribe. And the second principle is it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about your message. Because it's the message that actually goes, that resonates with people. And I was inspired by Simon Sinek's TED Talk. How many of you have seen that TED Talk? Just type I in the comment box. He talks about the golden circle. Yeah. The golden circle, where he analyzed some of the biggest influencers in the world, and the biggest people. He analyzed, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Steve Jobs. So the golden circle is, just imagine this. Okay. If you've not heard of this concept, just type not in the comment box. Okay. Just type not. If you're not heard, I'll just give you like a quick, principle on how it works. I want you to imagine 3 rings. You have the why ring, the inner ring. Then you have the how ring, which is the next one. And then you have the what. Why, how, and what. And most people communicate on the outer ring. Like, what do I do? Okay, but very few people talk about why they do what they do. Are all of you getting me? Yeah. It's very easy to talk. Like most of the businesses, they're very okay with saying, okay, this is what we can do for you. But very few business owners actually go talking about why they do what they do. The how part, some of them talk about. But a very small percentage of people and businesses voice that out. And that's why in my whole framework and template, you guys might have not noticed this, but now you'll notice it. I've actually implemented the golden circle inside your personal clarity document. Because even though you may not believe it initially, once you start vocalizing it, it'll start to internalize. When I say, I want to help 100,000 people live a lifestyle of freedom, why do you think I'm making you write that in that personal clarity document? To help 100,000 people dash. Hi, I'm Siddharth Rajsekar. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and coach. I'm the founder of the Internet Lifestyle Hub, and I'm on a mission to help 100,000 people live a lifestyle of freedom. And that's why I've created the Freedom Business Model coaching system. It is such a simple template, but it's very powerful, isn't it? Just type powerful in the comment box. And I'm making all of you start to communicate inside out, not outside in. Because when you communicate inside out, when your message is very, very clear, some of you know, you might have had a bulb on moment, because I just embedded that entire principle of the golden circle into the model over here. Okay, I've definitely got ideas from Wake and the gold card and everything else. So what ends up happening is, initially you may not believe it. Initially you may think, okay, 100,000 people, how is it possible? Even for me, I was talking about 100,000 people when I had zero. I said, I want to help 100,000 people live a lifestyle of freedom, live the internet lifestyle. There was nobody at that point of time. Now it is reaching some 30 some thousand, and should be reaching 100,000 by this year. Okay. And then once you hit 100K, then you hit a million. Then your number should jump to a million. Once you hit 1 million, then make it 10 million. Once you hit 10 million, then you make it 100 million. Once you hit 100 million, then you make it a billion. And then, yeah, that's it. In fact, I was having a conversation with Dr. John D. Martini from the movie The Secret. How many of you heard of him? Just type I in the comment box. And I was speaking on stage, sharing the stage with him on one of the occasions. For me, it was truly an honor and privilege. Like, he's a walking encyclopedia who's read some 40,000 books. He's been speed reading since the age of 18. Okay, it's crazy. And I was backstage with him, and then I told him, he asked me, why do you do what you do? And I was lucky because I had this whole script in my head. I said, I want to help 100,000 people live a lifestyle of freedom. He said, and then he said, good. I mean, he said, you're very clear. And then I told him, how did you do this? He set the similar kind of goals. First, he said he wanted to reach out 1,000 people, then 10,000 people, then 100,000 people. And he has actually reached 2 billion people on this planet through various means, not on a one-to-one level, but through all his media and outreach and his over the years. Okay. So he lives in a boat called The World. And he only reads, writes, travels, and teaches. Okay, that's his whole. And I was really inspired by that. And it was more like a validation that, okay, if this man who's 64 plus, who's like fit as a fiddle, if he's able to live that kind of a life of true impact, and he's thinking on the same patterns, then I'm on the right track. And it was more like a validation. So the golden circle is where your message is very clear. I mean, your message will get clear. And the more you vocalize it, the more you talk about it in your webinars, the more you talk about it when you go outside, the more you vocalize it, then it starts to internalize, and you'll start to vibrate at a particular, frequency, or whatever you want to call it. And that will start to bring in those opportunities and things that will start to move forward in that direction. Okay. So now let's get into the 6 steps. Ready for this? Just type RSG, is ready, set, go. RSG. Please take a lot of notes, because this is going to be one of the most important principles. Okay. And we'll also do we'll participate on this together. I wanted to think about it deeply based on your niche. Okay. So the first step is your core. Your core. Like, what do you stand for? What do you stand for? And you would have heard me say this before. Like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Everything will be like attractive. The shiny objects will be all over there. And sometimes it's important for you to go through that journey of discovery, to find out what you really want. And there are 2 ways that you would be able to find your core. Okay. The first one is, it could be patterns repeating in life. Okay. Have any of you experienced this, where from the time that you are born till today, multiple times a similar pattern of that same lesson is coming back and showing up in front of your eyes? Have any of you experienced this? For me, I can tell you very clearly, the whole concept of freedom was there right from my childhood. And I'll tell you how. The first experience, which I don't remember, was what my mom told me. So I was supposed to join nursery school. And my mom and granddad, my grandpa, which I keep talking about him, they went walking down. We were living in Bangalore on Langford Road, and they went walking down Langford Road towards the hockey stadium over there. Some of you, if you know Bangalore, you know that place. And there was a nursery school over there. And my mom said, as soon as she walked in there, I just burst out crying. Okay. And that teacher, who was a nursery school teacher, she saw me crying and all of that stuff. And my mom was just a very brand new mom, right? I'm a first son. And this teacher tells my mom that this kid is anti-school. Okay, just looking at me crying for those few seconds or few minutes. I asked my mom, and she told me this later on. Okay, I don't remember any of this. And my mom, her heart sank. Okay, because somebody has said something like this about a child if he's anti-school. Like, just imagine, new mom. And my grandpa was next to my mom, and he said, "Let's get out of this place. This is not the place for him." And they went walking a little bit further down. There was another play school. I just ran inside and I started to play there, and I ended up being in that school. Okay. One pattern. I'll just give you this one pattern. Okay. The second pattern why am I sharing this story? Because possibly I didn't want to be conformed or whatever. That freedom element was there even from, at a DNA level. You guys, I'm telling you this story just so that I want you to find out what are those patterns in your life. Okay. I don't remember this pattern, but I'll tell you later on what happened. Is again, during school days, I was never in classrooms. In fact, my 8th grade, I got slapped in front of my teacher, in front of the entire class. I got slapped by my teacher in front of my entire class of 64 students. And in fact, my rebel kicked in really strong during that time. Okay, I used to play cricket. I used to be in music class. I would do anything possible to stay outside class because it was too boring. Anybody else were rebels? Just type rebel in the comment box. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. A lot of rebels in the room, right? So same here. So I just felt like there's something here. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be more free. I want people to really, let me be who I am. Not that conformity thing there. And then the same thing happened in college. Same pattern. I had 11% attendance in my first PUC, 13% attendance in my second PUC. I ended up failing. I used to play snooker, all that stuff. Again, that rebel. I was always out. So that freedom thing just kept coming back again and again. And I remember the first day of tuition class, I went in second PUC maths tuition class. I went and sat in the front. I was right in the front row, and the master was there. And the first day of the class, and he opened up. He said, "All of you." I was sitting on the ground. Okay, that is how the tuition class was. And it was. He came in and he said, "If you guys enjoy this 1 year, you have to suffer for your whole life. If you suffer this 1 year, you can enjoy your whole life." And I was like, screw you, man. I didn't go to tuition after that. Okay. I don't know. That was a rebel in me. That was that fire which was there. I didn't want people to make statements like that. And of course, things went in a different direction. Parents thought I was going for tuition, but I was not there. Okay. I was doing other things. So anyway, long story short, I hope all of you are getting it. When you are able to see some repetitive patterns from your life that kept coming that is actually your core. And now if you look at it, I was able to integrate all of this later on. And when the freedom business model idea came, it's like, this is what I'm meant to do. It's like, this is what I want to help people get free. That's why I'm so in love with the movie, The Matrix and all that stuff. I want to be the Morpheus and, get Neos like you and just unplug people from the Matrix. I always had that thing. Then later on, I went into this network marketing industry, and there also that DNA was pumped in. Okay. I read Robert Kiyosaki, Secret movie, personal development. Then I again went back into conformity. I was working in a job for a long time. Then again, I had to get free. I know a situation pulled me out of that. So life teaches us a lot of experiences or it reminds us of sometimes that same pattern keeps coming. It's like sometimes you're not open to listening to that. So now I want you to think about it. What do you think is that pattern that has kept coming up for you? Can you think of anything? Just type in the comment box. I just want to read some words. Yeah. For some of you, it's courage. Some of you, it's freedom. For some of you, it's self-love. For some of you, it's resilience. For some of you, it may be just not being conformed. Not just conforming to other people, just standing up. And many times you just curb that inside. You just want to be a people pleaser, whatever, that happens. Yeah. Grit, self-growth. For some of you, it's finance. For some of you, it's like managing money, wealth creation, helping others, identity, creativity, teaching. For some of you, maybe spirituality, healing, innovation. Absolutely. each one of you have that one pattern that's coming back again and again to teach you, okay, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do. And then you get on with life, and then one more situation comes in, okay, this is what you have to do. Right? Yes, self-worth. So please note this down. Just note this down in your notepads, okay? Because each one of you, you will know what is that core message, because your niche will be based around that in some way or the other, okay? Your niche will be connected in some way, or even if it is not directly connected, you need to find that bridge to that niche, okay? So for me, that freedom thing just kept coming back at different situations in life. And then, since some of you know, I'm already in that, I'm already, like, what do you say? Not already, I would say. I'm blessed to have been associated with spiritual upbringing. So freedom right now, it starts with freedom of financial freedom, okay? Which is how you can start to make money. And I wanted financial freedom first so that I can have more time freedom in my life. But ultimately, it is, for me, the big freedom is to get out of the cycle of birth and death, okay? That's the big freedom. So it's all congruent. When I talk about freedom, is that it's all these different levels of freedom. And the irony about freedom is, what I realized is, freedom comes through surrender. All of you just type bulb on, okay? I realized that while I was trying to be independent and free, I was missing the point that actual freedom comes when I surrender to mentors, okay? When I surrender to my spiritual master, when I surrender to, because then you don't have to do the thinking. It's a very ironic thing, yeah? Because most of us, we want to just be on our own, like be our own stuff. But I learned that lesson. And when I surrendered to my mentor, and other mentors like Blair, Vic, there are so many others, T. Harbecker, it's like they have a proven process. Let's just follow what they say. Let's not use the brains too much. Let's just do what they say. And then the freedom starts to show up in your life. Okay? All of you just type bulb on, So I'm just telling all of you here. Now, even when it comes to your pattern, there is going to be some seed there where you'll realize that you should just follow that. You know that answer, but you've just been pushing it on the side. Okay? So the first element of finding your core is looking at what are those repetitive patterns that keep coming up in your life, or what are those areas that you really are, that you really need to strengthen. The other thing is your passions. When I use the word passion, it's more like, let me also use the word gifts that you have been born with. Now, sometimes you may not know your own gifts. Somebody else has to tell you you're good in this. But if you know what are your gifts, just type that in the comment box. What do you think you've been gifted with from the time that you're born? Where you have like a little bit of an unfair advantage as compared to others around. Yeah, let's read some gifts over here. Yes. Some of you are charming, some of you have great relationships, kindness, speaking, emotional connection. Yeah. Painting, music. Awesome. Just look at the gifts. All of us have some gift. Okay. Yes. Gratitude, emotional intelligence, music. Yeah, for me, definitely music is one of those gifts. Okay. Music, for me, music, spirituality. Okay, I would say gifted with music and technology. Like, I just like to pick things up fast. Okay. Methodical, some of you are for music and dance. Yeah. Excellent. Forgiving, mentors, convincing, quick learning, filmmaking, precision, open-mindedness, mimicry, listening. So each one of us have different gifts. Okay. So yes, I was, again, I'm very grateful that I got into that space of pursuing those gifts. I went to sound engineering industry, all that stuff, spent some time there. I really fed my soul like anything during those days, making music. And now I'm getting back to it. Okay. So, but of course I realized that can't just sustain the family. The whole industry is different. But today I'm using it, before you guys come in, I like to pick some best tracks, and I'm always experimenting and stuff. So You can use your gifts in any situation. Okay, that's a different thing. But understanding your core is how you can integrate those lessons, how you can integrate those gifts, and amalgamate all of that into something where you know that this is you. Okay, this is what you got to put there. This is the flag you're putting down to say that, okay, I'm going to help a lot of people achieve that. And I'll give you another third angle to this. It is even your pains. Okay, this is somewhere related to the first point, but I'll just tell you. In case you're somebody who has been struggling with relationships, then maybe that is your niche. You have gone through all those pains so that you can teach others how not to go through that. If you have gone through some tough situations in life in a particular whatever area, maybe that is your message to teach others. Is this making sense? Yeah. If some of you have been ill-treated during school days, you have been literally you've been like toned down. Maybe your mission is to help people rise. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If it's making sense, just type MS. You may not have the answer to it right now, but if you do, think about that. Whatever has been your pain is what you got to do. Even for me, the freedom, I did not have freedom in different segments of my life. So that became the mission, freedom. Okay. And so the model evolved. And then of course I had to adapt myself and make it into, package it with the new age technologies, tools, traffic, funnels, all of that is just the frills. But the core is that. Okay. All of you with me till this point? Just type with you in the comment box. Yeah. So the first step is to identify what is your core. Okay. And you may not have this answer immediately, and don't worry about it. Go and think about it later. You'll hit some point there, because you cannot start a revolution with a weak core. It has to be strong. Okay. The second part of it is your message. Your message has to be singular. When I mean by singular, it has to be consistent. Do you know people in your life where you've seen every few months they're excited about something new? Yes? Just type I know in the comment box. They're excited about something new. It's like something hot, something else. It's like they're not sticking to one thing. Yeah. And sometimes it's difficult. I mean, you may need to go through an experience like that in some cases for you to find what you really want. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing good or bad about it. But once you've found your message, you need to be consistent on it. Like right from day number one, ever since I started this community, it's the same thing. I'm not going to change this. Okay. One of my earlier mentors, he said, be fixed on your vision, but be flexible on your methods. Or in other words, be fixed on the goal, but be flexible on how you get there. But the problem, what happens is people flip it. They want to be, they're flexible on their goals. The goal keeps moving. The vision keeps moving. And they are very rigid about how they want to live life. They're very rigid about, their methods of doing things. This is how it has to be done. This is how it was always done. Okay. So your message has to be consistent and your vision has to be fixed. And the vision will come from your core, whatever your core is. It could be freedom. It could be courage. It could be growth. It could be whatever. It has to be something which is really, really, which has been pushing you at different stages in your life. And even though, let's say your core is growth, for example. Okay. If growth has always been showing up, where, every time you are not growing, life taught you a lesson. If that has kept coming back as a pattern, and if growth is the thing, then how to grow? There are different niches. There are different ways that you can teach people to grow. You want to help people grow in their careers, or you want to help people grow in their income, or you want to help people grow in their spiritual side. You want to help people grow in their relationships. If that growth thing has kept coming back as a pattern, you can use growth into any of these areas, because these are only the areas which, if you connect back to the core, it will fulfill you. Otherwise, what will end up happening is you just pick a niche based on, it's the hot niche. Okay. Affiliate marketing is the hottest thing right now. So let's just start with affiliate marketing. What ends up happening is if there's no connection with your core, you're just picking up a niche based on it's a quick money thing. It's very short lived. You'll realize after a point of time, you get bored and there's no passion in it. There is no drive in that because it's not connected to something which is solid. Is it making sense? Just type MS in the comment box. Yeah. So that message can be, what do you say? You can take it forward in any of these niches and you have to take it in a micro niche. You need to go narrow it down still further and it fulfills your goal. For me, if you see the ultimate goal is, we are not human beings on a spiritual journey. We are spiritual beings on a human journey. And I'm sure many of you believe so. Okay. So that is always on the top, right in my core. But I've just adapted all of this to fulfill the basic needs first. When you're making money, you'll have more free time. When you have more free time, then you can focus on your inner work. And sometimes it works even the other way. So you focus on your inner work first, and then everything will start to work. So it's all that congruence you'll be able to find. You'll be able to link all of that together. So your profession, your career, your lifestyle, there's nothing like spiritual and material. Everything is like it's one thing. It's all amalgamated into one form of living. Okay. And you wake up every morning knowing that even if you're doing a webinar, yes, you're doing it for a cause. Okay. You're doing it for a higher purpose. Yes, you're doing your sales pitch. You're serving people. You're like anybody else. You're a businessman. You're not just giving everything in charity like this. You got to think like a business owner, putting on those shoes. Then once you make that money, then you can go do many things with that. You can go and give charity. You can support your family, do a whole bunch of stuff once you have that kind of abundance that you create. And that abundance is not in a way where you're just selfishly hoarding stuff. You're actually creating an impact in people's lives. How many of you are able to connect with this concept? Just type powerful in the comment box, okay? Because I want to go deep into this. This is your revolution will happen if you are able to think at these levels. And I may be preaching to a choir over here. I know many of you are already super aware beings, okay? And there's no doubts about it because many people in this community are way, way more than many others, okay? And I know you know what I'm talking about. So I may be preaching to the choir, so just bear with me, okay? Now the third part is then you'll attract your tribe. Okay, so once you start voicing your message, once you start finding that formula that you develop for yourself and you're able to connect all those dots, then you start to attract your tribe initially. And that's what I make all of you do in the hackathon. You go through your first process, you understand all their pain points, and you start to attract them with the questions that you actually throw out there, and you answer those questions. You start to build your Facebook group, your Telegram group, and you start to attract the tribe. So the tribe attraction happens through content. When I say content, you can do video content, you can do live content, and you can also do podcasts. Now I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty part over here, okay? Let's go. What's the next one? Yes. In fact, I'll come to that later. So to attract the tribe, you have to, there's other words, you got to start rallying. The political rallies that happen, the politicians go out there and they start to propagate their message. Hundreds of people, thousands of people in large groups, people come in lorries and they stand and they're propagating, they're rallying. So you need to rally. And quick question, how do you guys rally? How are all of us rallying in this business? One is through content, and we're doing it through webinars. Yes. Okay. We are doing webinars. Webinars is your form of rallying. I want you to think about every webinar of yours as a way on how you can attract the right people. It does not matter how many people buy your product. But if they're able to connect with your core and your message, even if they don't buy your product now, they don't have to be a customer also, but they will be an evangelist. They will actually start to follow you. They will start to look forward to what you post, and you need to continue posting. And down the line, when they have that, when the timing is right for them, they will jump in and they'll start running fast, where you don't really have to do much. Okay, so it's very important. Your webinar is one of the most important parts where you can open up your heart, you can share what is your core message, go with the golden circle, inside out approach. And then you do your sales as a form of service. Selling is a form of service, because selling is also a filter. When you filter out those people who are not interested, those are people who buy, who have shown their commitment, then you start to work with them, and then you start to nurture them even more. That comes to step number 4. Okay, so when you do webinar, you do sales, you put out content on social media, video, podcast, live. I mean, today we are blessed to be living in a world where, you can reach out in any part of the world. You don't have to travel and do anything. You just need to have a smartphone and a laptop and a webcam. That's it. Yeah. How many of you feel that this is the best time in the world to be living in? Yeah. Just type best time in comment box. Imagine those guys like Martin Luther King and all. He had 250,000 people in that, I Have a Dream speech that he had. There was no RSVP, no websites, but there was one day where 250,000 people came in front and he spoke. Today we have guys like Gary Vee and Jay Shetty, and these guys are like impacting, millions of people on a daily basis. The magnitude of the impact is crazy. It's crazy. Okay. That's because of technology, because of the reach, because of accessibility. Okay. So the 4th stage is you need to then nurture your tribe. Nurture your tribe in what way? You need to really, like what we are doing right now. This is my way of nurturing this tribe over here. You do your weekly masterminds. Okay. You do your own monthly hackathons. In fact, the hackathon idea was not even there for me before. Only in January, I started that, because I realized a lot of people, they're buying my level 2 program, but no one is, but a lot of them they just fizzle out. I was not able to really get them to finish. So I thought, let's gamify this whole thing. Let's gamify the whole thing. Let's reward and recognize people who are finishers. And then the whole paradigm started to shift. And only in the last 3-4 months, the success stories have been growing because of the hackathon. People have finished the hackathon, they come back, they have major breakthroughs. Because otherwise, people are lazy. All of us are lazy. How many of you agree with me on this? Just type I agree in the comment box. As human beings, we are lazy. And you have internal and external motivation. I think I've shared that story even in the past. I'll share that story later on, in today's webinar. Because motivation can be of 2 types. Internal and external. External motivation, like what I'm doing right now. You may listen to my videos, you may listen to The Stranger's Secret. And then if you don't do anything about it, it starts to go down. Okay. Internal motivation is where it's like a permanent battery that will never die. It's like inside you. And that internal motivation will come when you know what's your why, when you know what's your core, when you're very clear about it, when you're very sure about that. And that surety, sometimes it takes time to evolve. Each one of us we are at different stages in our life, and we need to evolve. We need to probably go through some situations and whatever, and then it just kicks off at some point, and it never ends. We are constantly evolving. Okay. We never arrive. How many of you are with me on this? Yes. Just type NA. We never arrive. There's always the next level, and there's always the next level. And the day you feel okay, I've arrived, that's the day it's going to start going down, because that's where the ego kicks in. Okay. So nurture your tribe through weekly masterminds, do monthly hackathons. Okay. And then if you ask, as you're building your tribe, start to do quarterly, recognition, or quarterly intensives. I'm giving you the formula, which I've implemented now. You guys can just model the same formula. Quarterly intensive events, just go fully intensive, because sometimes people need even one intensive boost. By the way, how many of you attended the Freedom Business Intensive? Yeah. By the way, just give me one word of what was the experience of Freedom Business Intensive. Give me your one word. Yes. Wow. Big boost. Awesome. I'll tell you, I've never done any event like that. It was a 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. completely online event. And I just went full on in that. And many people they were able to really get clarity and the direction focus. Even though it is there in my courses, everything is there in the video, but sometimes Even for me, I need to like come and just intensively work for like a couple of days to have those breakthroughs, and set the goal for the next quarter, and that's what we all did together. Even though I facilitated it, I was working on my own stuff when others also were working. So it's together we did that. So all of you clear till this point? Just type super clear in the comment box. So first is your core. Then you develop a singular message that is consistent and you never change that. Okay. And then you start to rally, and by rallying you attract your tribe. In fact, the third step is rally. Okay. The purpose of rallying is to attract your tribe. And how do you do that? Is through webinars, by doing a sales webinars. And that's more of the media I'm talking about. Okay. And then the content is that you keep posting out there, the videos, the podcasts, the lives, all of that starts to bring the right kind of people into the community. Okay. In fact, I'll put content on the top. Your content is going to attract the right people into your webinars, and the people that you sell to in the webinars, they become your inner circle. Okay. And then you start to nurture your tribes through weekly masterminds, monthly hackathons. You want to call it anything, you can call it anything else, but have in some way where you can make them achieve something, and you gamify this. Okay. You got to gamify. In fact, I'll come to that in the next stage. Okay. You start to nurture this. Then step number 5 is you got to then empower. You got to empower the tribe. You got to empower the people who are getting results. So for example, what I'm doing right now is I have the Hall of Fame. Okay. I really want to interview those people who are getting results, and I want to give them a boost. Okay. How many of you who got interviewed in the Hall of Fame, you got some good business after that? Just type I did in the comment box after the Hall of Fame interview. Let's see some of you here. Yes, Sukin Shetty, Karthik Naidu, Swastik. You're going to be getting there. Your interview was awesome. Today I interviewed Swastik. Yes, Krishna Kumar. A lot of you got a boost. Again, how you do it with your community depends. Like I have a Hall of Fame. You need to have something like that. Okay. Even the Freedom Finisher. So it's to empower people, to give them the recognition. So then what happens? Now I also launched something called the Freedom Facilitators. And this is something which just launched last month. So as you're building a tribe, you'll notice that there are a few people who are precisely implementing whatever you're saying, and they are non-different from you in value systems. And those are the people that you pick and you say, hey, you drive things forward in your own flavor, in your own style, and let's add more value to the community. And this is the idea that came in, and it's just now picked up into daily meetups that are happening. Okay. So in fact, Nurture the Tribe is also through daily meetups. This will come in phase 2. When you're starting off, this will not be there. Okay. When you have a big leadership that is emerging, then you can start to empower them to do things where it's going to be a win-win-win. It'll be a win for the members of the community, which is the most important. It'll be a win for the leaders who are driving it forward, because they're also going to get the visibility, and it's a win even for you. Okay, in my case, it's a win for me because now I'm having a team that is now working to help, and I'm not paying any salaries for these people. They're just doing it on their own time because they've hit the Hall of Fame. They've got the results. They understand the DNA of this tribe, and they're following the system to the T, and they have the right and they have the power to actually explain that to others in whatever specialization area that they have. Okay. So empowering the leadership, and even at this stage, it's important to have a code of honor. A code of honor is like setting a set of like rules where everyone is in sync. Because usually what happens, I've noticed, like in big religious movements or whatever, you might have noticed, if the code is not very strong, even though it has been set for whatever reason, you will find like a few leaders who end up becoming rebels also. Okay, nothing good or bad about it, but you would also see that happening. Yes. How many of you have seen that in any situation, maybe in a political movement, in a religious movement? I'm analyzing things from different perspectives over here. Yes, just type I have in the comment box if you have noticed this. So code of honor is very important, where you are able to set the rules, but you also give freedom and flexibility. And very important, you need to operate with an amalgamation of logic and love. Logic and love, head and heart. Both need to be congruent. Logic, yes, if something is not working, if your numbers are not good, got to make those quick tweaks and tips. And love is more like, when you empower leaders, truly, you generally need to care for them. Okay. And it is not something that, it is not a script over here. It is not something that can be, it's not a template, though it is looking in the form of a template. It has to come from within. Okay. And when you are able to operate from that energy, right, you will see the leaders do amazing things. And I've been in situations, like I'll tell you, I have been blessed with some great bosses in my career. My first boss, when I did my sound engineering, his name is Ratish Babu. He gave me all the flexibility. He was in Chennai, sound engineering. I was a 19-year-old kid. I was teaching like 35, 40-year-old people how to make music and all that stuff in the studio. He gave me all the free hand. That was logic and that was love. And he was also firm at times. If I was screwing up, he would just tell me straight on the face. Okay. Blessed to have a boss like that. My second boss, when I was working in Dubai, his name is Bridge Mahajan. Amazing boss. We were only 4 employees in that company. And I was the guy making ringtones. We had one accountant and we had one guy who was making graphics, he was designing graphics. And the 4th person was my boss. And we used to hang out, chill out. We used to play cricket together and all that stuff. Very small startup company. It was great. And later on, when I came back to Bangalore, my other boss was Vijay Parthasarthi. Some of you may know him. I'm just checking if he's here. He's a part of this community. And he has achieved the Hall of Fame. I'm going to interview him soon. Okay. Or if you just type wow in the comment box. He got into my coaching system, I think 7 or 8 months back. IIT, IIM, super successful person. And then he worked in the corporate world for 25, 30 years. Then he decided to do something now of his own in the consulting space. So all these values came in through those experiences. Like if I look at all my bosses, they operated with logic and love. They gave me the freedom. And that's why I want to thank them. And I understood what was true leadership. Because leadership is not about dictatorship. I mean, all of you know the story of Hitler, right? Yes, he was the greatest at one point of time, but I mean, that cycle had to end. It never left. Can you give me some examples of leaders from our history who operated with logic and love? Give me some examples. Yes. Nelson Mandela. Yes. Obama. MGR. Yes. Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah. Narendra Modi. Ambedkar. Ratan Tata. Mother Teresa. Chhatrapati Shivaji. NTR. Abdul Kalam. Dhoni. Classic example. Srila Prabhupada. Alexander. I'm not sure about Alexander. Okay. There are some different stories. I know that he was like, his head was in the sky. Okay. Bhagat Singh. Somebody's talking about Trump. I don't have any comments on that. Okay. Yes. Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy. Tony Robbins. Ashoka the Great. Lord Ram. Buddha, Amir Khan. There's so many other examples over here. That's amazing. Amazing. So are all of you able to get some patterns from this? Yeah. Just start getting it. If you're getting what I'm trying to say over here, because a leader that actually lasts is one who is able to imbibe. And for me, it's like, this is like a study. It's a topic I like to keep studying. I like to observe things. And I like to bring out those patterns. It may be evident. Many of you may already know all of this stuff, but it's just, we're just having a conversation over here. Okay. So, again, you would notice a few leaders who want to be in control. And there are some leaders who empower and and do not want to be in control. And usually they are the ones who actually end up having order, where they're not micromanaging and all that stuff. Okay, so it's a different breed of thinking, and it'll evolve. Each one of you have your own style of doing things. You just need to find that. Okay, but for this to really work, I mean, when you come to that stage 5 level, you'll realize what is your style of leadership. Okay, you need to be open to feedback. You need to be not having that ego. Like, sometimes some of our members, they message me, hey Sid, I don't think this is the right thing to do. And it's like, okay, cool, let me not do that. Especially in leadership council. Sometimes, the mind is going all over the place and you just try to keep implementing things fast and maybe it's not the right thing to do. So that's why it's important that at this stage, you also create a leadership council who can keep a check on you. It's not about you leading that council. It's about the council leading you. Bulb on, just type bulb on in the comment box. Yeah. So you have to create that kind of a framework and you'll be able to do that. And then what happens is the revolution. Then it moves into the revolution mode. Okay. And the revolution mode, it can take its time because this is not something which is in our control. Sometimes it may take a few months, a few years, many decades, but it's okay. And there has been so many revolutions that have happened in this world in various industries. You look at the gaming industry itself today, is like there's been some major revolutions in esports and all that stuff. That's a whole different world altogether. In fact, I was just playing Fortnite. How many of you played Fortnite? Just type me in the comment box. I just downloaded that and just playing with my son. Okay, and it's a different world altogether. Like it's a crazy world. Okay, some of you are saying no. Okay, yeah. You banned it for your son? Okay. For me, I'm a little bit, okay, I'm a rebel, right? So I like to do things. So I like to experiment. And so I'm playing Fortnite. I'm looking at all these guys that they're, it's a completely different world of its own. I just went and studied, okay, who are these guys? Who are the guys who are the leaderboards? And just went and did a look up on YouTube. And these guys are doing these channels have like millions of views and they have these Twitch channels. And it's a different world of its own. It's like a revolution that they've created there itself. Can you give me another industry where there's PUBG is there, RPG games. There's what is else? What's the other one? I'm forgetting. There are many. Yeah. Tekken. Let's get away from gaming now. Can you tell me some other revolution that you can think of? Legos, okay. Film industry. What else? Where there are millions of people who really they are religious about that topic. Yeah, TikTok. But TikTok is a platform, but what on the topics you need to look at in TikTok? Okay. Origami, yes. VR. Okay, Ilayaraja as a topic, yes. I mean, you look at the Ilayaraja music fans, those are the hardcore fans, it's running into thousands of people. And they have analyzed every single movie back and forth. Cricket is a revolution in India. Come on. I mean, there are guys who know the statistics back and forth and, it's crazy. Yeah. Yoga, electric vehicles, gambling in Las Vegas. And all of these are revolutions of its own. It's like a micro revolution. And it doesn't mean that if you are a part of a revolution, that you cannot be in a part of any other revolution, because it's like there are some gamers who do other things also. Okay. And I'm looking at this revolution happening in the internet space, following all the influencers. And I'm also following the influencers in the music industry. I'm looking at, places like Beatport, and I just made a list of my favorite artists over there, and I've started to make those playlists. I'm going and looking at their Instagram handles, looking at their YouTube channels. What are their new launches? How many followers they have? What kind of influence do they have? I mean, it's like each one of us can be a part of multiple, I would say, micro or mega revolutions. But most of these revolutions have started with the same message. The person who developed Fortnite, okay, as a game, he would have had something in his life where he wanted to do something, okay? And then he probably he had a message, okay, I want to create a new world. a virtual world to help people come together. And then he starts to build something, and the initial gamers and a tribe, and then he starts to nurture the tribe, and then all these gamers start to build up, and then he builds his own the super leaders and these contests and stuff, and now everyone is playing. There are millions of people playing Fortnite, for example. Can all of you see the same pattern of the 6 steps? Can be, it is very clear in every revolution in this world. Yes or no? Just type yes in the comment box if you feel so. Yeah, same pattern: core, message, rallying, nurture, empower, boom. Yeah. So this is what can happen to you. This is what is going to happen to you watching this. That's why I said this particular training today is going to probably go into a few hundred years, and we won't be able to measure what's happening, because 900 plus people are watching. 946 of you are watching right now live. Even if like 5 of you take this and make it happen, right? I mean, we're going to cover the planet. I don't know what you're going to do, but I know you're going to do something. All of you just type goosebumps. I'm having goosebumps right now. I don't even know what's coming up, but I know that's something huge that's coming up. And I think the world is right now at a stage where we need to like step up and lead. We are now having that knowledge and the technology and the skills to really bring out our message to the world. People who have rigid thinking, who are kind of stuck in their own way of doing things, who are not ready to adapt to changing times, especially now, I mean, it's going to be a tough life for them. But now this group over here, 948 of you, I mean, all of us here, we are the new breed of leaders for tomorrow, because we are getting equipped digitally, where you're learning the science of how this happens using the digital world. You don't have to travel to places. You just need your phone. You want to reach every town and village of this world, it's here. You don't have to sit on a plane and go anywhere, because you post something here. Once you built your influence, boom, it goes to thousands of people. They're able to see it. So you need to get back to your inner game. Like, what is your core? What is your message? And then you start to build it up. Okay. Now there are some invisible forces which play over here. Your intentions play a huge part over here. And this is the formula which I would like all of you to set into your system. And this formula was given to me by my mentor, Blair Singer. He said, whenever you have to make any decision when it comes to your life or your business, you got to think about this. Mission first, community second, me third. Mission first. Like there has been I remember last year, multiple times, even before the lockdown, all that stuff, right? Multiple times my wife used to say, she was free only on the Thursday evening, and said, okay, let's go out for dinner. And I say, no, community first, mission first. Let's go for dinner later. Let's go tomorrow. It would be just one example here, but you'll come across many situations like this in your life where you'll have to make a decision whether, you want you to come on the first or second or third. And thanks to Blair Singer, who's my mentor. I think it's very clear. When there are crossroads, when there's decisions to be made, I just think about it. Okay, is it mission first, community second, me third? Let's just go for that. Let's just follow that formula. That's it. You can never go wrong. It's only when you push this in the front, what happens is the self-centeredness kicks in. Like, what can I do right now to get money right now? Like, what kind of offer can I push to my list today so that I can make like $5,000? Like, if I want, I can just do like that. Now we have an email list of 150,000 people. I can just push one offer to them. Every day I can push some new offer. Just make like short-term money. But that I'm not doing that, because that is not the intent. The intent is what? To first, serve the community, is to first get people into the webinars, to let them understand what this is all about, to first educate them and not attract impulsive buyers who want the shortcut stuff. In fact, now in my webinars, if some of you come and see, it's like my whole approach has changed compared to what I was doing 6 to 7 months back. Now the whole approach is, in fact, those of you got in recently in the last 1 week or two, you would have heard me say this. Like, I would have told you that, you know what, this is not about getting rich quick. If that is your case, I don't want your money. You can leave. How many of you have heard me say that in the webinar? Just type I in the comment box. Yeah. I used to do it even last year, but now I'm making it even more strong. I said, I only say, I want the right people in my community. And I tell there's going to be a lot of hard work. There's going to be a lot of effort that you have to put. And if you're not willing to put that effort, don't waste your money. Go somewhere else. This is not for you. I'm actually pushing people away. And the interesting thing is more people are coming. But when they're coming in, those who come in, they're like super serious. The expectation is very clear that they have to put in the hard work. This is not a cakewalk. This is not like getting rich overnight. So all of you getting this point over here, the invisible forces, just type got it in the comment box. And I would like all of you to start to vibrate that kind of communication with your audience in all your webinars. Just say that, tell that this is not about fast stuff. Okay. This is not about getting things quick. Yeah. It's about getting things. It's about having the right people. It's not number of people that sometimes when you're very open and honest, your conversions will actually go up. When you tell people the truth, that this is going to take so many hours and effort for you to achieve this goal. And if you're ready for it, then I'm there to help you. Okay. Awesome. So another idea that I was thinking is this. Okay. Legacy thinking. Okay. When I say legacy thinking, just one idea that came to my mind was this. Okay. Let's say next maybe 40, 50 years, whatever time I'm going to be on this planet. Let's say I'm writing my goals. Okay. 90 plus. Okay. And I want to live a healthy and happy life, focused in that way. We build, I'm able to say build a fund, let's say $100 million fund. Okay. $100 million fund. Now, those of you into finance, just type in the comment box. Suppose you have $100 million fund and you don't do anything from that. Okay. What kind of an interest can you get from that on a monthly basis? So what is that number? 6% on a monthly basis. What is it? 1 million per month. Is that the number? If you put 100, yeah, 1 million per month. Okay, good. So I want all of you to start thinking in this lifetime, whatever that number may be. I want to increase this number also depending on how this goes. Okay. So 942 of you here, when you're writing your goals every day, one of the goals I want you to write is the legacy I'm leaving. No, I have a $100 million fund that I've created in this lifetime, which will support all the causes and initiatives that I want to help. Now, I just want to ask you, if all of us are able to think on this level, where can things go? All of you just type wow in the comment box. Okay. I want to now think expansive right now. Okay. Now, when I say $100 million fund, yes, you got to be very business oriented also. Think about what do you want to support. Like, for example, in my case, let's say I want to support like a few temples. Okay. These ancient temples that need support. There's nobody there who's going, they need revival, all that stuff. Okay. So I put this fund over there and perpetually, and I make it very clear. Okay. This is what is going to be funding. So what you pick, whatever is going to be supporting what you want to support. So now you guys tell me, if you set a number like this, and if you start to think in terms of that vision, with what energy will you be doing your business? With what energy will you wake up every single day thinking about that? Yes. Just type unstoppable in the comment box. It has to come from somewhere. Like, why do you want to make that money? See, personally, we can only eat so much of food. We can only wear so many clothes. And especially in this lockdown, so even though I got a Merc and stuff, I'm not able to drive it. And it's okay. For me, it was just a milestone. Truly not attached to it in any way. Okay. Honestly speaking, I'm telling you from my heart. Okay. But if you are able to think of a mega, like now you have a reason to make this money, you have to build that fund and build it to some level, which can really, make this like create an impact in the world. And then you set the entire infrastructure and make it into a system that can support. Imagine all of us, what kind of an impact we can leave together as a community, like after say 50, 60, 70, 80 years, whatever's going to be the timeline. Okay. So that is the idea I wanted to plant at the end of this. Okay, we got to start thinking in terms of legacy thinking. I'm already writing like I'm worth 10 billion in this lifetime. So think big. Okay, so it could also be $1 billion fund. Okay, so think big. Sometimes, it's just in our own mind. How it's going to happen, it's not in our control. Okay, and again, when you have so much of resources and money, it's about how grounded you are and how you can actually use that money. And if it's like you get what I'm saying, right? So there is no reason to not think big. Yeah. So think in terms of this. So what is your number? Type that in the comment box. What is your number? What is your legacy thinking fund number you want to build in this lifetime? 1 billion, okay, 100 billion, 500 million. Let me bring the B here. Yeah, I think I need to change this. Okay. See, Bill Gates and Melinda has the foundation. I mean, they are creating huge impact with what they're doing. So now you guys are going to be waking up tomorrow morning with a totally different vision. 10 billion. Awesome. See, whether you're going to be hitting that or not, that's independent, but you just set that intention out there. Okay. You say intention, and the beauty is that becomes irrelevant. Now you're working towards something. You are able to wake up every morning knowing that, okay, I'm doing this, yes, to protect my family, to really keep my family secure. All the basic stuff will happen. Like in India, if you see maximum, even if you're going to be, living like a fully abundant lifestyle, you need like 3 to 4 lakhs per month. That's it. Okay. All the necessities, needs, and now even shopping and stuff, there's not going to be malls, nothing. Okay. 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs per month is chill. I'm looking at my household expenses. It's only like 1.5 lakhs per month. Okay. I'm not even increasing that expenses. It's a normal, including everything, paying the school fees for children, putting, the rent for the house, and I'm still in a rented house. I'm not thinking of just getting into real estate and stuff like that yet. Okay. Let it happen. Today, if you see, cash flow is the king. Okay. Liquidity is the king. So start thinking in these lines. Once your basic needs are met, then you start to have a bigger vision on these lines. Okay. Fantastic. So how many of you found today's session powerful? Just type powerful in the comment box. Yeah. This is how you build take your message and make it into a movement. I want you to start thinking about your business in a completely different paradigm from today, and you'll be amazed at what will happen, what will unfold, because your whole operating system has changed now. I can tell you straight off, your operating system has changed. It's a different operating system now. Okay. So we have come to the end of this segment, and I truly wish each one of you take this and create that kind of an impact in the world that is unimaginable. And I think our future generation will thank us for this. Okay. Future generation will thank us for this. And this time in the history of the world is like Mother Nature's, slap to society as humanity for us to realize what we are doing. So we need to live more conscious lives. We need to live lives which are more oriented towards our inner world, oriented towards a better world. Like,
I used to be extremely nervous and apprehensive about my abilities. I used to think that how will I grow in this digital age where I am so much technologically challenged. I don't know how to make videos, I don't know how to make websites, and I don't know how to use the Facebook.
Before coming into ILH, every day I used to think, I want to do something for society.
And I always wondered, I saw people making so many mistakes in clothing, and I would say to myself, how can I someday I want to teach them.
I did not know how to create online courses. But after going through the freedom business model created by Siddharth, I understood the minute details of designing a course.
Because it has given me enough confidence, enough push, and enough direction in terms of going towards my objective of reaching my software and my products to over 1 million Indians.
It got an amazing preciseness in my mind. I got crystallized in my mind that exactly what I want to do and how I want to do it. With immense support from the ILH hub also, I have been able to clear all my doubts, and I always feel that they are the rock solid support you have at the back.
I'm proudly sharing with you that I am on a mission to help 100,000 people live artistic life with the joy and create next breed of artists and art teachers.
It is teaching us a method on how to digitize this knowledge and reach people. And here is where I'm completing my dream.
Siddharth's freedom business model is transformational and life-changing, especially for the action taker. Strongly recommend Siddharth's freedom business model for anybody who is aspiring to grow and scale.